Hello there, CNote here, and I want to run you through Neulink. And I like Neulink because it is a social media service. You know, all of these software as services are starting to really be empowered by AI, and this is no different. This is actually something I've wanted the whole time, and right now it's on sale, holiday specials, all of that stuff. It's a really great price, really fantastic tool. And what Neulink is it allows for the creation of social media automations and posts through automatic connections to your various social channels. So for example, if you want to, I'll go into my collections here, which are basically different groupings of services and what kind of content you create. So you can see at the bottom I have Substack here. I have a couple of YouTube channels. I've got a personal YouTube channel. I've got Happy Chemicals, which is a personality and mental health channel. And then I've got a gaming channel. And then I've got SoundCloud, a podcast, and Dribble, which is where I post some of my graphic stuff. And so these are just various collections of those of stuff that I do, essentially. If I go into automations, you can start to see that I'm using different services to create automations that eventually go into the queue here of starting to pull content and create posts from the archives of those channels. So that's the biggest thing that I've always wanted, is being able to take my past YouTube archive. It's not just grabbing the latest thing, but it's going into my archive and it's creating posts for basically revitalizing my old content to make it so that people can see and I can promote those things at a greater speed than I would have doing it by myself. So let me show you what the automations are. If you're just getting started here on Neulink, what I would recommend when you're poking around is just go directly to the automations and then click Add Automation, because then you can see all of what's available. You know, there's this All tab here, but there's also, it's broken into these different sections. And I usually like to start from the end and work my way forward. And there are podcast connections. You've got YouTube, you've got SoundCloud, Captivate, Anchor, and Transistor. There's also general RSS feed connections as well if you are needing to bring in something from a different service. You can try using an RSS feed there. If we go into social, you've got tweeting and blogging, Etsy, and all these other cross-posting platforms, so Medium, Tumblr, Pocket, things like that. And you can add them to a collection, and then when you add them to a collection, you can create automations in whatever way you need to. What I really love is that it's connected to things like Zapier, and there's other IFT and other platforms that if Neulink doesn't serve as the automator and doesn't have the tools, it can still link to these other automation tools to make those things happen for you. E-commerce, you know, again, RSS feeds, but then you've got Squarespace Shop, Wix, WooCommerce, Shopify, things like that. So if you have a Wix website with downloads, you can link to blog articles, and that highlights some of those products, and auto import your products from like Shopify or Etsy, for example. Like, that's really fantastic to be able to automate some of those processes, especially if there are images attached to those products. Then they can be reposted as like Instagram posts and stuff, for example. And then you've got blogs, you've got Medium, Tumblr, WordPress, and Substack is the one I'm most personally excited about because I use Substack a lot. And then cross-posting. So you can cross-post Instagram Reels, Facebook posts, images, things like that, and play with those and see how that works for you. I haven't personally done much of this kind of cross-posting because I have posts coming from the main sources, which is YouTube and Substack, and those are filtering through these channels, so they don't need to be cross-posted. But if it's a native piece of content, like if it's a reel that's specifically for Instagram and that's where the content's being posted, then you could do a cross post with, you know, maybe Twitter or something like that. But I like to take a top-down approach. I like to go from like Substack to YouTube, or YouTube to the social channels. I use the social channels as promotional tools. And then you've got new ones, which are, you got Flowmatic, which is automating processes through WordPress, Integrately, which is another kind of IFT or Zapier kind of thing. Same with Pabbly and Make. Those are different services that have all sorts of apps that can create interesting automations and integrations. So what this is effectively doing is it is taking something like AI tools, which are, when people say AI, they're really meaning large language models or automations or streamlining. So this is combining automation, which is coming through connecting social channels and various software as service platforms. And then through those automations, you are able to connect, let me close this and then close this. You are able to then bring in the large language models. So let me show you my Substack one, for example. And if I go into edit here, when you connect your automation to Substack, this is what you'll be presented with. Put the link to your Substack. You can create an image post or a link post, and then you can turn on AI captions. You don't have to do this. You could leave it off, and then you could just write in a default, like check out my latest blog article or whatever. But the turn on the AI captions is really an opportunity for you to start playing with giving it a prompt so that each post is unique. You can have it so that there are emojis being added, hashtags being added, but in this case, I'm experimenting with write a caption for this Substack letter about title. Now, title is the tag, and it'll pull the title of the Substack article. And bring a thinker, witty energy that encourages curiosity with joy. That's what I wrote. It'll give you a default thing, but I encourage like rewriting your own to give it a personality or give it a perspective to be writing from. And it is mandatory to add the link for readers to click it, and then the link is there. When you first set this up, title and link, the key phrases there will be there already. And then I created my own called disclaimer, which I'll show you shortly. And then post is just the title, and then check for new posts every 24 hours. And so there's all these interesting smart tools like send a follow-up comment, use smart conditions, which means including or excluding certain keywords. So if it includes a keyword, then post it, or if it excludes a keyword, then post it, so it doesn't have to be every single post. And then you can also mark it as drafts if you want to be more hands-on and be able to review what the AI is outputting first before it actually posts it. I'm a little more reckless. I don't do the drafts. I like to experiment in real time, so I just put it out there. And so when you create an automation, it automatically creates a collection. And if you're using something like Zapier or one of those integration tools, you need to create a collection first. So I needed to create a Dribble collection first to connect Dribble through Zapier. And that gets more complicated. If you need help with that, certainly let me know and I'll see how I can help. And basically, when I set up the automations, then they end up in the queue, and it starts filling up very quickly. I've got like 100 posts. If you just look at the calendar view here, I've got a couple weeks of posts ready to go. So about 2.5 weeks or so ready to go, which is great because what I ultimately want is not having to think about it, you know? So you can see some of the examples of the posts here. These are some of the older ones. And I kind of let it go. This was before I started editing the AI prompts, and I just wanted to see what it spit out. So it's like, are you ready to peek into the future? Our latest podcast episode. Now be careful, because when the automation starts, the AI prompt starts, it includes the words latest podcast episode. And all of my automations are not podcasts. So I needed to edit that, but I didn't realize it at the time. So I could go through and delete all of these if I want, but I'm just going to let them go through and see how people respond to that if they still click it out of curiosity anyway. And then the later posts are going to be a little bit better calibrated. So let me go to, this is literally a video I wrote yesterday. Oh no, that's not the video. That's just for the thumbnail on Dribble. Let me go to some of my later posts because the tone is going to change as I created a new prompt. So let's see here. Get ready to delve deeper into the realm of passion and empowerment. Part 2 of our Empowering Sexual Fantasies, Dissociation, and Power episode is live. and it's time to unravel the mysteries of your mind and desires. Are you bold enough to explore? Click the link to listen and transform the way you perceive intimacy and strength. So, what's interesting is that maybe I would probably go in here and tune it a little bit because it's not quite what the episode is about. But, I'm not being a stickler about this. This is just me experimenting. But if you're needing things to look a little bit more specific, then by all means, please come in here and make those edits. But it gives you, like, I identify personally as more of a calibrator type of person. So having the opportunity to edit something versus write something from scratch is very exciting for me personally. So I really like that process. So again, automations, connect your automations, connect your channels, connect your Substack, connect your Wix or your Blogger or whatever. Those will create collections, which will have all of the posts within them. And then they will be filtered into the queue. And now if you want to go edit these, you can click edit and it'll give you a different sort of view here where you've got other options for things to do. You can decide where it's going to be posted, which channels it's going to attempt to post. It's not going to guarantee that it's going to post there. If there's no image, it's not going to post to Instagram, for example. If there's no video, it's not going to post to TikTok, for example. But it's going to pull what it has and create what it has. And so, you can set it so that posts are scheduled repeatedly. And when you set up the initial automation, it'll give you the opportunity to say, repost that, make it evergreen. Keep reposting these every few weeks or something like that. And that creates an interesting option. That'll come up when you initially set up the automation. But then there's all these different tools. I'm not going to go through each one specifically, but you can pull YouTube tags and enhance the, get into like some of the nitty-gritty details and nuance, which is really nice if you want more of those hands-on details. You can see what it's going to look like on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and images will sometimes even post on TikTok, which is nice. Or it might, it won't post on YouTube as a video, but it might post to YouTube as a community post, which I'm not sure if it's done that actually. I'll need to check that. But again, like, these are fairly new tools, so go ahead and experiment, right? So let's just peek through some of the other stuff real quick. Insights, clearly it's just analytics. It's able to give you a snapshot of like how many posts are posted, the impressions, what it all looks like. There are limitations here. I've not seen stats from Twitter and TikTok, for example. I think they're adding those and things are getting ironed out. But there are various other places you can see impressions from various spaces. What's nice about this is like something I would not have taken the time to promote on YouTube got reposted on LinkedIn, and I got an affiliate sale from that, which was great. You can add your own brand settings and start to tweak and nuance all of these notifications and stuff like that. There is a link shortener. I personally like to exclude a couple of links. So if I go into the settings here, since new.link could look like a spam and someone might not want to click that link, I have exclude certain domains from being shortened, so substack.com and youtube.com, so it'll show up as the full link there. And that's something you can experiment with. Experiment with short links or not short links and see if that yields different results, right? Hashtags, you can create your own hashtag sort of groups, and then you can use a short code. Those short codes I was talking about earlier. You can create your own short code, put that into the prompt section, and it'll pop out those hashtags specifically for that specific kind of post. And short codes is where you can create those short codes. So disclaimer is one that I created because, ethically speaking, I like the idea that people know that this is AI created, so that if they have sometimes it's about defending my competence, but in other times it's really about the ethical idea that, like, hey, this is an AI prompt kind of thing. If this isn't speaking to you, let me know, give me some feedback, things like that. So it simply says this post was auto-generated, reply with feedback or if you have questions. So I know the idea is to make people feel like it's organic and that it's a real person giving them something to check out. But in my case, I don't mind being transparent, and especially when I'm figuring it out, right? I'm trying to figure out how to make it sound natural, and I haven't quite mastered that. So while I'm in the process, I'm very okay with putting a disclaimer there. That's just my thing personally. And then you've got the media library, which is assets that are uh, pulled for social media posts. I find that there are some limits here. You can create your own media to upload to, when you want to get into the nitty gritty nuances. From Substack, for example, it will pull the image from Substack if it's a post or from a blog or something like that, but it won't pull YouTube thumbnails, which is a limitation that I think is important to know. I wish it did, but I understand that there's probably some technical limitations there as well. And then you can add members and add more people depending on the brand. But I'm just a solo operation, so I'm just going to use the single tier. And then I think the pricing is really solid for this. For something that is growing and new and experimenting, it's like $15 a month for something really simple. So let me look at the plans here. You've got the yearly plan is going to drop it to basically 50% for all of these. But then you've got, so for one person, $15, one brand, one member, 7 channels, 7 automations. Like that's, and 100 posts in the queue. So that is more than enough. That includes the AI assistant, all the automations, content library. Like you're getting a lot. And I highlight this because there are a lot of AI tools and AI building companies that are building tools, SaaS products, software as service products, that are a little shisty, I think, like too gatekeepy with their specific, with what they're offering. I think they're not being exhibiting some humility around like the newness of these tools and trying to take advantage of it. And I think Neulink is offering a legitimately interesting service that is very much worth paying for. I think it's a fair price, and something that I think is worth checking out if you're someone that has a archive of tools. So again, with my automations, if you've got an archive of content, I should say, if you've got a podcast, you've got a YouTube channel, you've got a blog, like, and you just want to keep reposting like once a day, twice a day onto various channels to have people, some old content be renewed, I think this is a great opportunity to get up in that, right? So give it a shot. Neulink, I will post an affiliate link in the description if you would like to sign up and use that link. That'd be amazing. Otherwise, have at it, give it a go. If it's not for you, that's cool too. And if you have other questions, leave them in the comments below. So I have been Christian Rivera. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.